All right, let's dive right in. We spend so much time thinking about how to change our lives, our jobs, our habits, our mindset. But what if one of the most powerful changes you could make is changing your address? We're going to explore this wild idea that where you live isn't just some random backdrop. It's an active force that can literally shape the outcomes of your life.
So let me just ask you, straight up, could the city you're in right now, the very ground you're standing on, be working against what you're trying so hard to achieve? It's a pretty intense thought, right? But it's the absolute core of what we're breaking down today.
And this quote from our source material just nails it. Every place has its own vibe, its own energy that it dials up. Trying to do it all in one spot is kind of like trying to grow a palm tree in Antarctica. It just doesn't work. You have to match your environment to your goal. So how do we navigate all this? The source gives us this incredible metaphor, the dragon's compass. Just think of it as your own personal treasure map of power spots all over the globe. It's not about finding one single perfect place. It's about knowing which location to tap into for a specific mission, whether that's a big move or even just a short, intentional trip.
Here's the basic principle. For you, personally, every single spot on Earth holds a unique energetic potential. Some cities might fire up your career ambition. Others might be like a warm blanket for deep healing. And some places, they could be absolute magnets for romance. The whole game is just figuring out which is which.
Okay, so how do we even start to use this map? Well, it all begins by getting really clear on what you want. What's your intent right now? The framework for this is called the 4 life seasons. Just like in nature, our lives have these cycles, a time for planting new seeds, a time for growth, a time for harvest, and a time for rest. The first step is figuring out which season you're in.
Now, this is where it gets really practical. This whole system is built around 4 key angles on your personal map. First, you've got the ascendant, or AC. Think of it as your personal front door. It's all about new beginnings, your identity, perfect for a spring season of starting fresh. Then, way up at the top is the midheaven, or MC. That's your public reputation, your career, your summer goal. Opposite the ascendant is the descendant, or DC. That's your partnership angle, all about relationships, which is key for autumn. And at the very bottom, your foundation is the IC. This is your roots, your home, your private life, the perfect focus for a winter retreat. So see, once you know your season, you know exactly which angle on the map to focus on.
Okay, that's the theory. Now let's make it real. We're going to walk through 3 of the most common life goals and build a specific location playbook for each one, using this exact system.
First up, the big one, making that career breakthrough happen. This is a total summer intention. Your goal is to be seen, to achieve something, to get recognized for your work. You need to be in a place that just hums with ambition and success.
So, to make this happen, you're hunting for places that light up your midheaven. A Jupiter line on your MC is basically the cosmic jackpot. We're talking growth, luck, public fame. A Saturn line on the MC helps you build real, lasting authority. And you can boost this even more by being near a Sun AC line for a shot of confidence or a Mars MC line to really ignite that competitive drive.
But listen, this is just as crucial. You have to avoid places with strong Moon or Neptune lines on your IC, that foundational home angle. Why? Because those energies are all about comfort, privacy, and retreat, the absolute opposite of what you need for a career push. Trying to build an empire there is like trying to sprint through deep mud. It will actively slow you down.
All right, let's do a complete 180. Scenario 2 is all about that autumn goal, finding a real, committed partner and actually building a life with them. This calls for a totally different kind of energetic signature.
The strategy here is a balancing act between 2 different angles. First, you need your descendant, the DC, to handle the attraction part. You want Venus on the DC because that's like a magnet for partnership. But finding someone is only half the battle. To build a secure and loving home, you need to focus on your IC, your foundation. A moon line on the IC is perfect for creating that deep sense of emotional safety.
And here's the big red flag for finding love. You really want to avoid spots with a Mars line on your ascendant, because it can make you a little too self-focused to be in a healthy partnership. And definitely steer clear of a Pluto line on your descendant, which can turn relationships into these draining, intense power struggles. It's just not the vibe for a peaceful, lasting commitment.
This slide just lays it all out so clearly. I mean, just look at the contrast. The summer intent for career is all about public action, being seen and pushing those MC lines way up. The winter intent for healing is the polar opposite. It's about private retreat, going inward, and strengthening those deep foundational IC lines. You can see why they're just fundamentally incompatible in the same place at the same time.
So let's talk more about that winter intent. Scenario 3 is for those times in life when the goal isn't to achieve more, but simply to heal. We're talking about psychological rest, spiritual recovery, and just profound self-care.
For this, you go all in on your IC, your nest, your safe harbor. A moon IC line is like getting a warm cosmic hug. It's all about deep emotional comfort. A Neptune IC line is perfect for that spiritual solitude, for quiet reflection. And you can support that with a Venus line on your AC to really cultivate self-love, and a Jupiter line on the IC to bring in some gentle optimism for the future.
The pitfall here is so important. The absolute last places on Earth you want to be when you're trying to heal are under a Mars MC or a Pluto AC line. These are the highest pressure, most demanding, and most confrontational energies on your entire map. Trying to rest there would be like trying to meditate in the middle of a traffic jam. It's just not going to work.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. This is all fascinating, but I can't just pack up my entire life and move to another country. And that's totally fair. So the source gives us some more advanced, flexible strategies for when a big move just isn't in the cards.
This first one is called proximal activation. You don't always need to live right on top of a line. The source suggests that even moving just 80 miles or so toward a line you want to activate can be enough to start feeling its energy. And here's an even wilder one. If you can't move at all, try simply facing the geographic direction of that line when you're making an important decision or having a key conversation. I know, it sounds a little out there, but the idea is to create a conscious physical alignment with the energy you want to bring into your life.
And here is the second advanced tactic, which is all about being realistic. Look, the perfect spot that has only amazing, supportive energy and nothing challenging, well, it probably doesn't exist. Real life means making a strategic compromise.
Check out this example. Let's say you find a place with a killer Jupiter MC line. Amazing for your career. But that spot also happens to have a Saturn DC line nearby. This is a classic trade-off. You're consciously deciding to accept that your relationships might feel a bit more serious or require more hard work in exchange for getting that massive boost in your public life. You're trading ease in one area for power in another.
So let's just pull all of this together. What this entire framework really gives us is a way to shift from living a passive life to living an intentional one. It's about becoming a conscious partner with the energies that are all around you.
And I really want to leave you with this incredibly empowering message from the source. This is not about being a victim of fate or being pushed around by cosmic forces. This is a toolkit for designing your life proactively. You are not just waiting for good things to happen. You are choosing the sky under which you are going to make them happen.
So the final question isn't what do the planets have in store for me? It's what do I have in store for them? You're holding the map. Your intention is the destination. The only question left is, where will you choose to go?